Alright, well, I might as well just kind of lay into the topic. I've noticed that the video of me reviewing the Zield Sound microphone, that video got a lot of views in comparison to my other vlogging videos, and that really surprised me. But at the same time, it didn't surprise me. The reason why it surprised me is because it kind of caught me off guard. The other reason why it didn't surprise me is because, well, reviews of tech usually get more views. And the positive thing, in fact, there really isn't any negative thing about the video, because all of the people that commented, all of the people, you know, that liked the video, it was all positive comments and positive feedback, and I'm really thankful for that. I do appreciate it so much, you guys. And in the video, I made it clear that I wasn't a tech person. I didn't do reviews at all. I just really liked the microphone for that price range. That's something that a lot of people have to take into consideration when I'm doing a review on something, or when anyone is doing a review on something. It's usually about a price range to what you get for the dollar. So whether if it's a good quality item to a bad quality item, and how much does it cost, whether it costs more or less. And I really do appreciate you guys for giving back such positive feedback, even though I don't do tech reviews, and that's really not my strongest suit. So anyway, guys, for those of you who want to know what gear I use to make these vlogs, to make these videos, it's the Panasonic DMC Lumix G7. Did I say that right? Or is it the Panasonic Lumix DMC G7? Yeah, that's it. Panasonic Lumix DMC G7, otherwise known as just Lumix G7. This camera is a great starter camera for beginner photographers or beginner filmmakers. And the camera does have its pros and its cons, and here's my, I guess, biased opinion about the camera. So the pros is it does 4K. It has a articulated screen, so you're able to flip the screen out and flip it around, which is very handy for vloggers. It's very handy for me, at least. It does do Cine like D, so it does really flat profiles, very flat logs, which makes it easier to color grade or color correct in post. All those B-roll footage that you guys see in my vlogs, I usually do it in Cine like D. Again, which is a very flat profile, so contrast, saturation is turned all the way down. Again, makes it easier for color grading. So all the B-roll you guys see, it's usually in Cine like D or Cine like V. Really not much of a difference between the two. I guess Cine like V is a little more sharper in a way, and it does hold shadows differently. Again, the camera is a very good starter camera for the price. I'm pretty sure I spent a total of like $850 total. That's with the kit lens and another lens that I got, or I think it's 45 to 150. Yeah, so it's 45 to 150. Yeah, again, this is kind of the bundle pack that you would get. I'm pretty sure the body alone would probably cost you guys around $500 to $600. The camera body is probably available on Amazon. In fact, you can even get a bigger bundle on Amazon, but I paid around 850 Canadian dollars. Not sure what it'll be for the US. But me personally, when I got this camera, was a huge upgrade, because before I was just using my phone or just using the Canon ELPH 190 IS. It's a tiny little point and shoot camera. The cons of the camera is the autofocus is not all the way there. It's okay when recording in 1080p, but once you hit 4K, the autofocus is almost non-existent. It takes a very long time to autofocus, and even in 1080p, it does do a little bit of a stepping kind of autofocus. It's trying to find its focus, so it's a lot of zooming in and out before it finally catches focus. The nice thing is, it does read your eyes. It does track your eyes in order to get almost like a facial recognition to autofocus properly, but sometimes even that can be a little bit laggy. So autofocus for this camera is definitely not the strongest suit, but I think everything else in terms of how much there is to offer in the menu settings is quite a lot. And even for people who's just beginning to, you know, get into filmmaking or photography, it's not too overwhelming, but at the same time it still offers a lot of options within the settings and menu. I've taken some really great photos with this camera. Again, I am not an expert on cameras, by the way. I am not one to do reviews, so for those of you who's thinking that I'm some camera expert or that I do this all the time, you might want to actually go to another video about this specific camera. Again, I do mainly vlogging, so this is kind of like a half review and a half kind of vlogging video. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The camera is pretty good for the price. Again, for the price, this is a great camera. Now, what is a camera that I will be upgrading to in the future? See, I was probably thinking about sticking in the Panasonic's lineup, but then I decided that maybe I should go toward Fujifilm, and the particular camera that I'm going to choose from Fujifilm is probably the X-T4 now that it got released as of time of recording. Yeah, that camera is just amazing, but I'm not going to get into that. So for those of you who's looking for a great starter camera, whether you're starting photography or filmmaking, I think this is a great camera, and I would totally recommend it. Now, battery life, because it's a mirrorless camera, again, battery life it's crappy. Compared to a DSLR, which usually has really great battery life traditionally, and the reason why DSLRs usually have great battery life is because DSLRs don't use up as much power. So, for example, a DSLR, they have a mirror pretty much that flips down in front of the sensor, and it reflects an image to the viewfinder, so you're able to see exactly what you're taking a photo of live. So all you're doing is just looking at a mirror kind of through the lens. Now, with a mirrorless camera, there is literally no mirror. So the light that comes through the lens, it just hits the sensor right away, and then it takes that picture and it kind of just gives you a preview digitally of what you're looking at. So it's a digital monitor in the viewfinder. So that's why typically mirrorless cameras will use more battery than a DSLR, and it's usually pretty factual that that is the case, because there is a video that I recorded in the past, and I was using my friend's camera, and it finally died on me. He has a DSLR. It's a Canon Rebel T100, I do believe, and he hasn't charged the camera in months now. Months is over-exaggerated because he would only take photos every now and again, but it sat in his camera bag for about 6 months, and then when I went to go finally use it, it finally died on me. Now, for all day vlogging and all day taking photos, I'll probably use a battery and a half, so almost always I usually have to dip into my second battery. So yeah, that's pretty much that's the camera I use. And for those of you who's wondering what audio setup I'm using, it's the Comica V30 Lite. So that's the microphone I'm using. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. Comica? Yeah, I don't know. It's a Comica V30 Lite. You can get it on Amazon for relatively cheap. I think I got this one for like 50 bucks, which isn't bad at all for a microphone. I'm probably gonna upgrade to the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. Again, this is a great starter microphone. It's very inexpensive. All the things that I'm telling you guys, it's more of a inexpensive level. So if you're just starting a YouTube channel, if you're just starting to, get into photography, this is a camera to use, and probably the microphone to use on a more inexpensive level. And for the kind of how I hold the camera when I'm vlogging, I just use a GorillaPod, just like every other YouTuber that would have to use it at some point in their YouTube career. The GorillaPod is widely used, and it's very flexible, so you can pretty much attach it to anything. Sometimes the legs just kind of like want to kind of move apart from one another, and then the camera ends up falling. The camera actually had a pretty bad accident where I fell off a skateboard. So the camera body was perfectly fine, it survived. It was just the articulated screen that kind of took the damage, which usually happens in most cases with cameras that fall that has an articulated screen, because the screen pretty much kind of snaps off, or kind of gets dehinged a bit. But yeah, other than that, the camera's perfectly fine. Now, I usually love snowfall because you guys know I always do B-roll every time it snows, and I get excited like a little kid once I see the snowflakes starting to fall. But I don't know, this time I'm starting to get a little tired of it, because just when you think it's getting a little warm, it's getting a little nice, Mother Nature's like, no, I'm gonna snow for no reason. Then again, in Canada, the weather is always unpredictable. So yeah, right now I'm on my way to get fuel because I need fuel. Let's talk specs of the Lumix G7. So it has a 16 megapixel 4/3 CMOS sensor. It has an ISO range of 100 to 25,600, 3 fully articulated screens, 2360K dot electric viewfinder, a 7.0 FPS continuous shooting. It also has a 3840 by 2160 video resolution. So I don't know if that's the screen video resolution or the whatever. So 125 by 86 by 77 millimeter, and pretty much just the scared me. Yeah, that's pretty much about it for this whole entire video. I just wanted to share with you guys what I'm actually using. I don't do reviews, so do not use this video as a reliable source. This is the camera I'm using. Again, it has its ups and downs. It has its, downfalls, but there's a lot of great things with the camera for the price range. Again, when doing reviews, you always got to think of the price range, versus what the camera has to offer. That's pretty much it. I guess that's the weird kind of half review of the Lumix G7 vlog. Yeah. Oh, Nico, you're okay. You're fine. Alright guys, if you enjoyed the video, as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Ring that bell so you never miss a single video. And I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace. Yeah. It's sunny outside and there's no snow on the ground. It just doesn't make any sense.